So today we are going to make a personalized double insulated cup, and the items that we are going to use for this is, of course, an insulated cup. This is just regular painter's tape. Sometimes I use sheets of transfer tape, but I'm out, so I'm just going to use regular painter's tape today. And a weeding tool. I've seen different people use different things for weeding tools. This is actually a dental pick, which I've found has worked the best, so that's what we're going to use to weed, and you'll understand what that means in a little bit. And then I have professional grade vinyl. I prefer to use professional grade versus the ones you can find at the craft store. I find they don't cut as easily, and they don't always stick well. So I just order this online. Amazon is where I usually find those things. So, and then of course we have our Silhouette Cameo, and we will use that to actually cut the image out. I have already designed on the Silhouette software the design that we are going to use. It's just, basic font and circles, and we are going to cut this image out on this vinyl and stick it to the cup. So, we're going to turn our Silhouette Cameo on. We are going to load our paper. I'm going to select over here that I'm using a media versus a cutting mat. I'm going to line it up with the spacers that are in there, and I will hit enter to load the media in. Then I'm going to go over back to my computer, and I'm going to select that I'm using vinyl, and it's going to tell me to adjust my blade to a 2, which my blade in my Silhouette is already set for that. My image is already where I want it to be. Since I am using a window type vinyl versus a heat transfer vinyl, I do not have to flip my image, so I will use it as a front facing image, and then I will select cut. The image will cut. It won't take very long to cut the image because it's a small image to cut. So we will just let that cut for a few seconds. Okay, once the image is done, the cutting unit, housing unit will go back to the front of the machine, and you will click enter to unload the machine, the media. Then you have your images. You can barely see them on the vinyl, but you'll take regular scissors and just cut out the 2 images that you need. Then we're going to just move this to the side. We don't need that anymore. Now we have our 2 images. We are now going to weed. When you weed, you are taking out the images that you don't want to transfer to your unit. And if you weed from the inside out, that is the easiest way to not have your image lift on the pieces that you want to stay. So we will take this part of the P. The dental pick just really helps just grab the piece that you don't want and weed it away. Then you can take the outside image around, and that is the image we are going to transfer to the cup on one side. Now here's the other image we are going to transfer. Again, we're going to take the inside of the O's and the D. It's the easiest to do. Again, the weeding I've used lots of different things to pick these off, and a dental tool from Walmart has just been the easiest that I've found. Once you get the middle of your letters out, you just peel back the rest. Sometimes the inside of the G or the E's will stay and it'll tear away, and so you just pick those out separately. Now you have your two images that you want to transfer. Since this image is really just one flat image, it is rather easy to transfer that one without having to use the transfer tape. So you're going to take your whatever you're going to transfer your image to. At this we're using a double insulated cup. So I'm just going to peel this away. Basically what we've done is just made a homemade sticker. And normally I don't have any trouble with it sticking, but of course this time I will. So we're just going to peel this away. We have a sticker. Now I'm going to just put the top and the bottom down and barely stick it. Just to make sure that it's even. Looks pretty even to me. And then you just go from the middle and you just rub it on to, get it nice, and that way if you go from the middle out, it helps prevent bubbles. Which of course I have. When you have a bubble now, you're just going to rub it until you get to the closest outage. So we're going to rub this bubble. I'm not sure if you can see this bubble in the video or not. But we will just rub it until, sometimes you have to take your weeding tool and lift up your image to where the bubble is and just squeeze that out, that air out. Now, I have actually had people that have used this professional grade vinyl on coffee mugs, and they have put it in the dishwasher and at a regular setting, and it stays. So I mean, once it's there, it's there. It's kind of like a window vinyl that people use on their cars. And so, through rain and windshield wipers, for those little emblems on the back of their cars, it seems to work just fine. So, there is the front of our cup. Now, we're going to turn this cup to the back. Obviously, I am not going to try to stick each one of these letters individually, as I would never get that straight again. So, we are going to cover this. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes I use sheet transfer tape that you can find at the craft store. I'm out, and I don't live particularly close to the craft store, and I haven't made it back out to get to the craft store. So I happen to have this painter's tape, and so we will just use it. We're going to just rub a piece of it on there. We're going to overlap it. Just so that we can transfer it all in one image. We're going to rub the top of the letters just so that we can make sure that the letters get good and stuck to the painter's tape. Then we're going to turn the image over, rub the back of the letters just to, make sure it's going to stick to the painter's tape and not to the backing of the vinyl. Now, I don't know why this is sticking, but okay, so we're going to pull this away. Maybe I rubbed too much. So the white pieces are the back. If you'll see, the backing of the vinyl has peeled away. I'm not really sure why that is. This is the first time I've experienced this happening with this whole lot of transfer vinyl, a vinyl that I've ordered. So just take your weeding tool and just weed that backing away. Should be rather easy to do. Okay. I usually keep a pair of tweezers handy, just in case a piece of it pops up. Just not necessarily for this. This is obviously the first time this has happened to me, but I have several little gadgets that I use for different things. do like to, obviously I like to visit the craft store often, but sometimes my husband likes for me to frequent the gun shows with him. The only thing I really like about going to a gun show, not because I don't like guns, just because I feel like if you've seen one, you've seen them all. But they usually have gun cleaning stations, and they have nice tweezer sets usually. And they usually have tools that help you get into small crevices, which I find useful in my crafts. So sometimes we will go to a gun show and my husband will walk away with nothing, and I will have found several items for my craft room. So he doesn't really know how that works, but it does. Okay, so now you have your image ready to transfer to your cup. So you want to turn your cup directly around so that your image is on, evenly on the other side, so you know exactly where to stick this image. So you can kind of see the image through the tape, the green tape. Usually when you use the transfer vinyl, you can see it a lot better, but like I said, you just got to make do. So you just kind of stick the, push it up against it. You just kind of want the middle to stick, and then you want to, pull it up, make sure it's even before you, affixate the rest of it to it. So it looks pretty even to me. Again, I'm going to go from the middle out. I'm not going to push all of the green tape down. I just want to make sure all of the letters are down. And then I just am going to kind of outline each letter with my finger, just because I want to make sure that the vinyl letter is sticking. I'm not so much worried about the transfer tape. Okay. Alright. So we will, now that the letters should be down, we're going to peel the transfer tape back. And you will see I didn't get that perfectly even, but we can always peel this off and do it again if we wanted to make it, even, which I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I would do that. But all in all, that is how you make a personalized double insulated cup.